Hi everyone, my name's Steve Owen. I'm the General Manager for Member Engagement here at AMP, talking to you today about our financial wellness research. Now, this is the first time since 2014 that we've done a deep dive into the attitudes towards retirement. I'm joined here today with AMP's General Manager for Retirement Solutions, Ben Hillier. So Ben, what did the research tell us and how have people's attitudes towards retirement planning changed?
It's really quite unfortunate. We're seeing lower levels of confidence sort of broadly across people entering into retirement. Broadly, there's a fear of running out of money in retirement, which is a significant concern. We know it's the number one concern that retirees face. And it's really, we're seeing it in the research in a couple of different ways. Number one, people are expecting to have less at the point of retirement, and they're less confident as they move through to retirement. And it's really as a result of rising inflation, as we know. People are expecting to have to work longer before they retire, and just lower levels of confidence all around.
We did see in the research that people are expecting to retire later and with less money than in 2020. It's affecting particular demographics of the Australian population as well. So women, single parents, and then those working in sort of particularly wholesale and retail trade environments. And although a slight improvement to 2020, we are seeing that a significant number of the population don't know how much they need to retire or how much they expect to need when they retire. So how much do they need?
Look, it's a really good question, and we do see a real mismatch in expectations. In terms of the research, we see that there's a real mismatch between what they think they need and how much they're on track, or what they think they're on track to have. There's about a $200,000 gap between what they think they need and what they think they're going to have. There are some helpful indicators in the available. We sometimes use the ASFA Comfortable Retirement Standard. That's a proxy for that ASFA, the Association of Super Funds, has put together that tries to describe what a comfortable standard of living would look like in retirement based on how many times a week they'd want to eat out, where they'd like to travel, etc. And what we find is that people, when they get into retirement, they're actually surprised about that they don't need as much as they thought they were going to need. Things like when they retire, they're not paying tax often. That makes a big difference. Of course, they're not looking after kids anymore. Hopefully they've got the mortgage wiped out or certainly a lot lower than it was previously. They don't have the work-related expenses. And so we are seeing that as people go through retirement, those levels of stress fall away.
Yeah, great. And interesting, what we saw is that people were more willing to trade off working longer than adjusting their lifestyle expectations, which is really interesting. So is that what people need to do?
Certainly that's a choice that a lot of people are thinking that they'd like to make. There's also new solutions that are coming to the market that actually allow people to have a more comfortable retirement for longer with less money. So AMP is bringing these solutions to market, and basically they're in response to new government legislation that's created an opportunity for us to basically provide higher standards of living, but without the fear of running out. People, once they retire, they're actually less concerned about day-to-day making ends meet. They find that, for example, let's put it into perspective, right? Just say you're earning $100,000 before you retire. You might think, well, I need $100,000 to retire per year, just have the same standard of living. That's incorrect. And people learn that when they get into retirement. Retirees are more concerned about more global, geopolitical type events and circumstances. And of course, they are still concerned about running out of money and having to rely on the government or being a burden on their family.
Yeah. And when we look at actually accessing help to assist with retirement planning, we found in the research that 25% of people didn't seek financial advice because they didn't trust others to help them with their finances. How do you respond to that?
Retirement is difficult. Right? It's a difficult challenge. When you're accumulating, often your needs are pretty similar to everybody else's. Everyone's just trying to get as much super as possible, ideally, and there's things you can do like making extra contributions, etc. But in retirement, there's a wide dispersion of individual needs, for different family situations. Some people might have dependent children, some people have got blended families, different levels of health and therefore longevity expectations, different lifestyle requirements. And on top of that, it's a really complicated legislative space. There's an intersection of tax, of Centrelink, of state planning and superannuation laws. There's a fair bit of complexity, and so there is a lot of value in seeking financial advice. As I mentioned before, we do have some new solutions that are designed to give people higher rates of income that never run out. But they're only available via financial advisors because of the sophistication in the system.
Yeah, great. And we also knew from the research that people that actually sought professional financial advice were much more likely to value that advice than other sources of information. So thank you very much, Ben. So that's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the insights. And if you want more information about our financial wellness research, you can read about it online.